Yes, everybody, welcome back to the channel. A little bit of breaking news is that Raphael Varane has announced his leaving of Manchester United. We knew that was the case, and I don't think there's anyone shocked by this whatsoever. He has left a message which said, "I'll see you all at Old Trafford to say goodbye for the last home game this season." It's going to be a very emotional day for him, apparently. And I'd like to know everyone's thoughts. Is anyone overly arsed? I think Varane has probably been one of, if not our best centre-half this season when he's played. But the problem is, I don't get the vibe that he's asked about Manchester United. I think he's a cemented legend at Real Madrid, and he's done massively for France, and I think he's very happy with that. And Manchester United was, was it a box-ticking exercise for him towards the end of his career? I don't rightly know, to be honest, but I don't feel like we got a true representation of who Raphael Varane was at this club. And he's essentially played around about half of the league games since he's been here. So we just didn't get any value out of him whatsoever, really. And it's interesting how Sir Alex wanted like Johnny Evans and Varane as a centre-half partnership at United back in like 2012, 12 years ago. And if we'd have got him then and we'd have kept all the Johnny Evans then, who knows, eh? Could things have been different? But I think that just highlights, Joe, the decision-making and the recruitment of the football club over the last decade have been an absolute fucking joke. So it's one of those, isn't it? I think him and Lisandro Martinez last season was an excellent partnership and gave everyone a lot of hope and probably carried the performances of the team quite well. But outside of that bright spark of their partnership last year, it's been quite a disappointing kind of era for that footballer at this club in terms of Varane. He's on a hell of a lot of money. Him and Casemiro, hell of a lot of money. And there is just better value for Manchester United to go find. And people always misconstrue when you say that there's better value out there. And they'll be like, well, United should pay whatever. United should be in a position to pay whatever. But like, you don't just throw money at problems and hope that the act of the throwing money makes it go away. You find people who are worth spending money on and reward them accordingly. I think we've gone for the quick fix far too often. We haven't gone for the intelligent sort of root and branch fix. We seem to see United at the moment treating the symptoms rather than the causes of our illness. And I think that's where things have to change, and we have to get better with that. And we have to identify stuff earlier out in the day. But it is one of those, and it is what it is. According to the Telegraph, Saudi pro clubs are pursuing Casemiro. Fantastic. So when the transfer window opens next month, there could be interest from Saudi. There's also interest from Saudi clubs in Bruno Fernandes, although that supposedly is regarded as far less likely. Casemiro's representatives have already held talks with Saudi Pro League clubs. United are prepared to sell, but would like any deal agreed at the start of the window. We're not looking to push Casemiro out, but we are looking to see him bring in a fee that we can actually do something with earlier in the window. And I'm here for that. Like I said, I'm here for that. The root and branch clear out needs to happen. I don't know if it can happen in just 12 months. It might need a lot longer than that, but it's good to see it starting. Tom says, Monisty, do you see as a sign? This is a sign of a mass clear out in the summer for me. I'd base the team next year around Ahmad, Højlund, Menu, and Garnacho. I'm not sure Garnacho's at the level of the rest of them yet, to be honest. I think he's obviously got potential, but I don't think he's quite on the level of the rest of them yet. He has also played a lot of football, and he has also been burnt out. But, I think more needs to happen. Paldo says, there's a reason Real let Varane and Casemiro go. They obviously saw a dropping in performance long before we did. I mean, yes, you tend to, when someone's had such a long career at a club like that, they was never going to go and improve on what they've previously done. But that doesn't mean that they're not useful footballers for you still. I don't know about that one. Notch says, maybe we can stop signing near past it injury-prone players on huge contracts from now on. I mean, that would be a start, wouldn't it? That would be a start. Craig says, if we don't get any European competitions, then a big clear out would be viable as we'd be able to cope with a lot smaller squad. Matt says, Garnacho showed more than Ahmad this season, Steve. I would argue Garnacho is better than Ahmad. I would argue he's had more games than Ahmad, and I think that's all he's got is more games. I don't think what he's shown me in terms of his football intelligence and his movement and that sort of stuff that he's better in the slightest. I think he's had more opportunities. That's it. Isn't it a loss selling Varane for free? Well, we're not selling him for free, are we? His contract is up, so he's leaving. Ben says, Monesty, Rafa, Casa and Martial leaves around 750 grand a week in wages. Surely 7 players up and coming just from them wages alone. Yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? A lot of people saying hopefully we go for Todibo with that. Like I said, there's so many people that you can get in that would do decent jobs for us. So many. So it's one of them, innit? Whitbird says Garnacho's overhead kick though was quality, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Ryan says, just wanted to ask when the app for fan ownership launches. Paid into it, but haven't received any notifications. The app, I don't have an answer for that. Like about a month ago, I was told it was ready in 24 hours. So I don't know. But you should be getting the emails, and you should be all the rest of the sort of stuff you should be getting. So you can get involved with everything that's going on with the fan ownership. We did a vote last week on a new kit. And it's gone down quite well. Some surprising results in there. But what we're trying to do is do football ownership and inclusion with fans in a slightly different way. And I think one success of the football team this season has been that. I think we've been absolutely fantastic at that. And I think there's levels that I would like to take it to. But if you're interested in getting involved, just search Stretford Paddock Fan Ownership. And you can get involved. Mika says, are we still with Puma? No, we're not. I cancelled the contract with Puma. Partially because of the reputational sort of erosion that we'd seen with some fans. We can't keep our promises to fans because they couldn't keep their promises with us when it came to delivery of kit. We had a green and gold kit a few years ago. It took 9 months to get here. 9 months to get here. And most people are sensible and can go, that works. For us, it's obviously not the football team, it's the manufacturer that's the hold up on that one, but I don't like doing that. I don't like leaving people in the lurch like that. So that's something that I think needed to be resolved. It has been resolved, and I'm pretty happy with that one as well. 1 second, I just need to deal with something in the comments. Give us a second. The Life of Riley says, defo need a couple of centre-backs this summer. I absolutely agree with that one as well. Have I heard anything about Fernandes wanting to leave if Ten Hag is going? I've not. I haven't heard anything in terms of like any whispers or rumours of anything at the moment. I haven't seen anything on that front for a couple of years actually. Although I got a little bit on tour last year, but yeah, not been getting anywhere near enough. Matt says, would I sell Rashford to Arsenal if an 80 million fee comes? No, and I don't know if Marcus would want to go to a team in England. I think he'd go abroad. But yeah, I think, do you know what? I would go with, if I could get 80 million for him, I probably would reluctantly sell him. I think he needs a move to get back to where he was, I think. Phil says that green and gold kit was fucking gorgeous, to be fair. Well, what if we did another one? Would there be any interest in us doing another one? If we could do green and gold again? Would there be any interest from anyone if we could do that? Let me get it up on the screen. And it will be an option that, listen, if you would like to get involved with the club, our kits are decided by our fans. So I'm going to put this on the screen, but let me know in the comments what you think. Would you be interested in, like we did the last one, it was a very limited edition. This one we could probably do we'd probably be able to sell more of them because there wouldn't be the same issues in manufacturing with it. But let me just get it on screen. What do you reckon if we made one of these? Hang on, can't move it. If we made one of these for next year, what do you reckon? Would you be interested? Let me know. Let us know if we make this. Are you buying one? And maybe we make one. Can non-members buy kits? Says Robbie Kingston. Yeah, listen. There will be some stuff that is for members only, but that hasn't launched just yet in terms of kits. There are some stuff that is members only in terms of the things that we do, but the merch that we sell, you don't have to be a member. Anybody, if you've got an internet link or you come down to the ground, you can buy a green and gold. Ross says yes to another green and gold. Mikey says yes to another green and gold. Mr. King says Cristiano would have brought us a Prem title. Well, you realise we did have him back and he didn't bring us a Prem title. Notch says think fans would be unanimous on yes to another green and gold. Do a poll. Reckon 90% say they would buy it. Can I do a poll from in here? Let me try and do a poll. Don't know how you do polls. It's not normally my thing that does them. Chat. Where do I do it? Add emotes. I have to do it in the back end, don't I? Oh, I'm not signed in as myself. That's why I couldn't do it. What's my thoughts on the Telegraph report of Thomas Frank being a candidate? I'm going to do another video later in the week about all the different candidates. So we'll see. 54 Dunk says, so do the Paddock have a new kit manufacturer this season? Yes, we do. It is fused, and we'll be doing an article about that this week, actually. P Savage says, smart as fuck. Cosplay Gamer says, yes, another green and gold kit is mint. Mocha says, so in for green and gold part 2. Mika says, Fuse make class kits. That's the good thing about Fuse. Now, I have got a third kit, and there is a surprise coming for members with the third kit. So stay tuned for that. I do think that there's a very strong chance if we put the kits to vote, because that's what we do. I think the green and gold probably wins, but I have been surprised on what happened with the home kit vote, so who knows. 54 Dunk says that's fit. Timber, that's class. Phil says take my money. Andy says that's cracking. Would you need to be a member to buy it? No, you don't need to be a member to get involved with the kits, but I think if you care about football and if you want to buy into the vision that we've got, get involved and become a member and have your say in the running of a football club, because I think the people that are members will tell you in the comments that it's good stuff. And it says that's cracking. Green and gold kit's gorgeous, says Connor. Always like the diagonal stripe myself, says Phil. Yeah, same. But it'd be a thingy. Global shipping. Yep, global shipping. Tino says a collar and a lace would be awesome. Loads of comments on that one. Dennis says, how do I feel it's only a big cutback project up until now? We've waited 2 free windows for Ineos to come in, but for me it's quite underwhelming if they don't deliver this summer already. Let's get summer out of the way to see. Berkey says, is the black and red kit confirmed? Wait and see. What won? I think you'll be surprised what won. Tiger says 100% buy a Paddock shirt if it's available. Arctic says Varane's good, but unfortunately injured mostly. I think that's been the issue, hasn't it? Ed says Marcus has played himself out of a PSG move, so sadly we're stuck with him. Brennan says make sure our internship pays the national minimum wage. We have interns and they're voluntary interns, and they do either a day or 2 days a week. And all of the staff that we've taken on, either full or part-time, came through our internship. And as a football club, you run a lot on volunteers. We hope to have a link up with a local university, because work experience, there's a reason that we don't just do interns for anybody. We do interns for university students. University students, to pass their courses, quite often need to bring in a level of work experience, and we provide an opportunity for that. And I think we've got an excellent track record of getting people skilled up to the level where they're able to go and get full-time jobs. And the internships, they're a matter of weeks. I certainly wouldn't have anyone over like a year or anything like that as on any sort of internship program, because that's taking a piss. No, it's weeks. People are here for a handful of weeks. They do a day or 2 that's convenient to them, and they get work experience. You need that in the job market at the moment. And as a amateur football club, we don't offer the opportunity to pay anybody. So it's one of them, innit? Yes, there's international shipping. Gareth says, I've enjoyed having Varane when he played. I'd absolutely agree with that one, to be honest. Notch says, how about selling paddock corner flags so we can stick one in a park for our own pretend club statement tweets? Who's my number one choice to replace Rafa? I think we've done videos on this. There's actual dozens of centre halves that will come in and do bits. So it's just, what's the script with who we're able to get hold of. Ed says, thought about talking to Macron about making their kits. They do mainly rugby, but their kits are class. I don't reach out and beg to people. There's a bit of a general rule, actually. So the people that want to work with the club will get in touch and work with the club, and we're in a fortunate enough position where we have options usually. And we've had options this time around. We have options with our sponsorships. So, I try and make an informed decision on stuff rather than just going with the only people who will take us. Julio says, stupid question given it's an amateur, but any internship program in literally anything remotely finance related. I mean, yeah, so the internships that we're talking to one of the local universities about, a partnership for them to be able to provide us students and us to be able to provide work experience in, is obviously there's operations, there's marketing, there's all sorts of things. It is a business. It's an amateur football team, but it's still a business. The turnover is still six figures for a club like this. And people go, oh, what's all that going on? I'll tell you what's going on. In training facilities, for the most part, facilities are an absolute nightmare. Most of the money that comes into the club just goes straight out on facilities. It's a nightmare. Mackenzie says, surprises me how people don't get why we've had a poor season, not just injuries. When Ralph had players coming up to end of contract and wanting out towards the end of season, performances went down. Again, yeah. KFA Posse says, tell us we're going to have angry shouty guy outside Old Trafford this year. Yep. Mr. King says, Maguire slides in. What a waste of money. All his worst move is still haunting us. Again, I don't know how much emphasis people put on the manager being the one that decides how much players are bought for and stuff. I think that's a little bit unfair on people, but it is what it is, isn't it? Our man says, I've seen the LinkedIn job post. Are all of them jobs on the spot? Are they going to any jobs that are remote since I'm not located in the UK? No, they have to. Are any jobs related with architecture? No. No, they all have to be here. It's very difficult to mentor someone remotely. Like, this isn't about getting tasks completed for the club. This is about the opportunity to spread and grow who we are as a club and give people opportunities. So yeah, unfortunately, all of the jobs that we have advertised on LinkedIn are jobs that are in person. The one qualifying criteria on there is, are you able to get to Manchester? That's the one. IR says, I graduate from uni next year. The job market genuinely scares the shit out of me. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not ideal, obviously. You would like to be able to pay people. But to give people the opportunity that they get, I think we've done bloody well. I mean, people who've gone on to from internships here, they work on the Overlap, they work in the BBC, they work at Manchester United. Like, there's a handful that have gone to United. They're at ITV. Like, people have just Sky, BT. Like, they've literally just steamed into the industry. We've had a goalkeeper coach that's gone to Norwich. We had a reserve coach that went to Manchester City. We had one of our analysts is now the analyst for Manchester United. Like, getting a good grip of the skills in the environment that we can give them genuinely does lead people to be able to get in decent careers elsewhere. Chronic says, thoughts on the Marines getting the new KS1 rifle, Royal Marines getting kit while the Army gets sod all. I think that's always been the case. I mean, like, they were getting issued Cry sort of combat clothing, weren't they? I don't know if the new rifle's any good. Obviously, it's a new rifle, so people just assume it's good. But, one of them in it. It's has it gone to the Rangers? It's gone to a couple of units, hasn't it? It'll get there eventually. I think everything in the army just takes a long, long time. Thoughts on the Swedish Rumbles? What was that? Can't see for this. I can't see the post. Tweet about the lack of investment in the squad compared to rivals. Yeah, I quote tweeted earlier and said good post. It was a good post. It was a good read. But yeah, I would tell people definitely go and check that out because it's check my Twitter and you'll find it on there. It's a really, really good post, and I think people should read it and deep down understand what's going on with the club from that one. Do I think Harry Kane would have had a Ballon d'Or if he'd have signed for City instead of Haaland? Maybe. Yes, it is a shame with Harry Kane, but you can't also tell me that it's not funny because it absolutely is funny, to be honest with you. Mr. King says, only players we should keep are Bruno, Rashford, Mainu, and Leisha if he can play a full season. He's a really interesting one for me because obviously he's mint. Whether or not he's able to stay fit for a season is the question. Cyan says, the job market is scary in general in the UK. Did my masters in the UK, but the market wasn't conducive. Hence, I had to come back to India. Yeah, it's fucking hard work at the moment as well. And the pay's not great for the cost of living over here. Ion says, thoughts on Kvara to replace Rashford. If I was asked, would I play the multiverse Wilson Fizz? I don't know what that means. Would I replace Kvara if Rashford goes? Yes, I could probably go with that one, I think. Mr. King says Ten Hag is the worst coach in the post-Ferguson era. Isn't he statistically the best? I would argue Moyes was. Moyes took over the champions. Ten Hag took over like the worst squad we've ever had. Do I think selling Kovar for 8 million is going under the radar as one of United's worst transfer mistakes from the Prem era? Yes. And it was said at the time that's a fucking piss take. But it is what it is. Mulvaney says, I cancelled moving to England with how things moved / are moving. Yeah, we absolutely shot ourselves in the fucking face, didn't we, with Brexit? So here's one of them. Not just if it comes to moving on Leisha because of injury, that is so fucking grim. I agree. But I think we do have to be ruthless. Thoughts on Onana? I think he's been good. I think the amount of shots we've forced him to have to deal with is a piss take. I think he's had mistakes, for sure. I don't think we've seen the level of ball playing that we even saw a little bit on the tour. That's just not happened this season. I think he's been largely good. Gurav says, why are the fans in the UK not calling out players and protesting against them to not play for our club? What the fuck does that mean? Right. What do you mean? How do you want someone to protest? What are they protesting about? Is there any player gone on strike that you know of? Or are there injured players? Now, you might suspect some players not injured when they are. But without evidence, that's just fucking nonsense, isn't it? So what are you protesting? Are you saying they've not been good enough? Right, well, I think they know that. And I think the atmosphere in the stadium and all the comments online, they know that. What action do you want to fucking see? And is that going to make them better? Are they sitting there going, fucking hell, I didn't know I was shit. And then Gurav told me I was shit, so I'll pull my fucking socks up and be better. Fucking hell. You don't win them all. You don't win them all. Dipesh says, just get at least 3 players in each position, fix the stadium issues, and we are good to fight again. Heaven says he wants them to do the Madrid thing where they hound players' car and chase them around town. Well, I'm never going to do that. Ion says, when you say you would take Ollie back, are you serious or are you trolling? Well, I don't think getting Ollie back would be the same as it was back then because he had Carrick and McKenna, his coaching staff, who were good coaches despite what everyone was fucking saying and thinking about. So I don't think you would get Ollie, McKenna and Carrick back together. So then you have to question, well, how good is Ollie without those two around? Or is he able to spot what those two did and replace it with somebody else? I think if United were to get rid of Ten Hag, I genuinely don't think Ole would be the worst appointment that you could possibly make. When it comes to Frank, Solskjaer, Potter, Southgate, yeah, I'm picking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer 100 times out of 100. I missed who it was there. Ranveer says, wasn't Leisha's latest injury just a weird fall, not a recurring injury? Yeah. And it was a foul that didn't get fucking picked up on, by the way. Yeah. Philip Collier says, Italian ultras are always protesting their own players' name. Never seems to help anything. The most ultra groups are cringe as fuck and give their clubs a bad name. Yep, I agree with that. Mr. King says, Ole was a great coach. We had the best form and glimpses. I think our best football post-Fergie's come under that. Yeah. Facts. Like, we went into big games genuinely believing we would win, even if we weren't going to win. We believed. And I think without the hope, that hope's awesome. IR says, didn't Mourinho promote / appoint both McKenna and Carrick? He did promote McKenna to the first team. Carrick, yeah, he might have also put Carrick in there as well, actually. So yeah, maybe Ole was the slight difference with those two, but those two aren't going to be there anymore. So then what do you have? Sam says, Steve, I commented the other week about my paddock ownership membership having the wrong email. You advised me to email the inbox, but I've not heard anything back since. Mate, I email it and I'll forward it on to the right place that it needs to go to. But it's an amateur club where people are volunteering to deal with that sort of shit. So it isn't 24-hour call center stuff to get caught with. We're not Amazon, so some things take a minute to sort out. I forwarded it on if you've sent it me anyway. SDMN says, Ole can never be the manager again. He said he didn't have the belief to become better to me, which means he doesn't have the confidence to make it right. Yeah, but that was what he said at the time. And at the time, it was right for him to go. But in hindsight, seeing how bad it's been since, maybe you go, actually, you weren't the fucking problem, mate. And that might give him the confidence to go, no, I wasn't the fucking problem, actually. Nick says, Simon Jordan talking about how bad Ole was for us. Well, he's just fucking wrong, isn't he? Matt K says, you're underrating Frank and Potter. Am I? Or was actually the system surrounding Graham Potter a really good fucking system that allowed him to thrive, and when he got to Chelsea in a bad system and it completely crumbled underneath him? Frank, maybe, but you don't know. And also, Manchester United ain't any of the places that they've been where I've actually seen what Ole could do. And we saw some real good stuff. MN2 says, let's be honest, the current available first-team players, would you rather just field our youngsters, or is that a bit too much for them? People always think field the youngsters. You get away with one or two, but no, you feel like a full team of youngsters, you get fucking battered. LDT says, I hope it's Tuchel. Whether Ten Hag deserves a chance to stay, I fear these players don't buy into style and workload. Tuchel would then be a Ineos man. What did Rio say to him? I haven't spoken to Rio about what he said to him, actually. Dylan says, why does nobody talk about how we lost Matic, Pogba, Mata, Lingard and more, and we haven't made a single adequate replacement for any of them? Neville says, not going to lie, McKenna coming back as the manager and having a right go at these overplayed divas that were clowning him makes me happy. The reality is he's probably going to come and fucking beat us, isn't he? He knows exactly what the weaknesses of this team are. And he's clearly a fucking good tactical mind. Wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you, if he did beat us. The Blaster says, hey Steve, tried reaching out on LinkedIn and I can't get through. Is there any other platform I can reach out in regard to being a video analyst? Right, here's the script. All of the video analyst ones are being ignored for the time being because I literally got hundreds, and so far every single person that's applied to be a video analyst is incapable of being a video analyst. So I need to have a think about how we try and filter through. I created a group, a Telegram group where I've got 50 people in it, and not one person has produced a viable match report so far. So I'm going to have a think about how we deal with with that coming through, and then I'll reopen it up to people. It was too much of an admin job to process everybody wanting to be a video analyst, but like, it's not as easy as people think it is. And there's a lot of work involved. And so far, there hasn't been anybody that's stepped up. So I'm probably going to delete that group, start again. I'll have to see what the process is in terms of getting it right for next year. Sam says, should never trust them again. Dishan says, just leave the manager. Players need a rain check. No real ethic to play for the shirt. We should have kept Phil Jones, says Jamie. For what? The Life Riley says, I wasn't aware we were in the market for another backup dancer when Lingard left. Why? Some of these fans. Lingard wasn't bad, but his fall off since has been fucking insane, hasn't it? Lucky says, all Deadwood, I want them to go different club. Damien says, no backbone or senior players in this team. All individual players playing for themselves. Mr. King says, Ralph Rangnick replacing Ollie was a joke. Ralph might be the new Bayern Munich manager. Ralph wasn't the problem. Rad says, what's the point of a striker if none of our wide players can get the ball for him? I feel for Rasmus. I think people need to replay that fucking Fergie to Van Persie if you don't play him the ball speech, because it was bang on. Nick says, are players faking injuries, Rooney and Souness claiming this? Who knows? You can't say they are. You can't say they are. You can question whether people have got the genuine desire to play for the shirt. Absolutely. What do I base that on? The performances. You know, I see people jogging back at different times, but saying that they're injured, like if someone's claiming Marcus Rashford doesn't want to play and he's faking an injury, this guy literally played with a broken back. I think if anything, he's earned the right to actually get an injury treated before he comes back. So, you know what I mean? We replaced Deadwood with Deadwood. Yeah. Bill says, I'm arsed he is leaving. Quality player. I know he's injured quite a bit, but don't yet trust the club to replace him with someone better. Well, this is what we're going to see. We're going to find out whether Ineos have actually got the ability when it comes to recruitment, because that's where we've massively, massively fell off. Recruitment has got to be so much better. AH420 says, imagine comparing Højlund to Van Persie. Look, listen, I'm not saying Højlund's going to win you a league, but there's multiple games he comes off the pitch without even a single shot being created for him. You know, there's no fucking thing. The Blaster says, is the Telegram group still a thing, or are the roles closed for now? The admin in trying to get people to do something is too much. So at a minute, I've got too much else to do. So I'm going to focus on other stuff, and I'll come back to it when I get the opportunity. Neville says, just to show appreciation for what you do with a super chat, have a call one on me. Thank you, our kid. G. Weber says, 100% some players are hiding and can't face the music for their criticisms at the moment. I think that's the thing, yeah. Fadil says, Ahmad will be a star. Heaven's Soul says, it's not about comparing Van Persie to Højlund, it's about asking your wingers and midfielders to pass to your striker. Yep. Can we hire Roy as a coach, says KFA Posse. Do you know what? I would love to see someone with the mentality. Roy Keane is a unique individual. Like, he is aggressive in a way that is entertaining almost, I think. He is grumpy beyond belief, but he knows exactly what he wants, and he was a better manager than he makes out and everybody makes out. He did some good stuff on shit budgets with pretty mediocre teams. Now, is he a tactician? I don't think so. But I think he understands football on a level that I'll probably never understand, and 90% of this chat will never understand. And I think he was a bloody good coach. I think he probably realised that the turnover is absolutely brutal when it comes to managers. Now, I was talking to an ex-Premier League player the other day, talking about what they're going to do going forward. They've got qualifications. They're debating going into management. And I was saying, you know, you could be very good and last 6 months because a new owner's come in, or, you know, you've had injuries and stuff like that. And your opportunity might only come at League One, League Two, maybe even Championship. And then it's one of those, isn't it? Damien says, Steve, I own a precast concrete company. Can I be a video analyst? We get a lot of that. See, do you know what? I think there's a lot of university courses that deal with statistical analysis. People want to get involved with being sort of data analysts at a football club. As an amateur football club, I don't have data for you to analyze. I get a lot. I must get more emails than any other about people wanting to be data analysts. I don't have any data for you to analyze. Like, I get my matches recorded, and I get like possessions, pass completion, corners, free kicks, shots, that sort of stuff. I don't need a data analyst to tell me what that data means. I know what that data means. There's just not enough. Like, I don't have the access to Opta level data at fucking Cheshire League level, and I don't know if it's useful at this level. We're not looking for marginal gains. I can make fucking enormous gains with other areas without needing to do that sort of stuff. I saw a great comment up here earlier, which was, there we go, Craig Harrison. Could Keane work with Ollie? And Hugh says, Roy Keane would be excellent as a youth team director. Please expand on that, because I'm not just going to poo-poo your opinion. I want to know, can you develop that for me and explain? Craig Harrison says, could Keane and Roy work? Well, there's obviously a lot of respect and friendship there with them. And I think I wouldn't mind seeing it. He's been an assistant with people he likes, Martin O'Neill. I would love to see Roy Keane as Ollie's assistant, just to see how it goes. Because I think that would be very, very interesting. Would Ahmad and Elise be a good right-wing options for us next season? Yep, I think they probably would. Lebo says, have I looked into the Veo 3 cameras? Supposedly sheet hot for data tracking during games. We have a Veo 3. Ash says, injuries and loss of form to key players have had a knock-on effect with attitudes and training the way we play. Yep. A few more promotions and we'll have up to data. I'm not sure where it kicks in, actually. So should we Google? Up to data. I don't think the Northern Prem have it. Is it National League? I'm not sure I'll be getting us to the National League. I don't know if it does even go down to National League. No, I think it's just... Not actually sure. What's my expectations for next season? Let's see how summer goes. Let's see who we sign in the summer. The Blaster says, could I elaborate on why none of the applicants were up to par in terms of what they expected from them and what was delivered / what could be done better? All right, listen, I'll open it up to people again. I'm going to have a little go at it. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I would like. I'll give you my big picture thing for what I want from Paddock for next season. So I have the Vale 3. We also have a Vale 2. We record the full night of every game, and then we have cameras for content. But that camera up top, what I get from the Vale 3, I get sort of like a map diagram of where every player is on the pitch. Fucking massively useful for someone like me that has positional things that I'm looking for in different phases of play. That's absolutely fantastic. And I can see that little map diagram of where everybody is on the pitch at all times. That's fucking excellent. I'm looking to build I could probably take a dozen people as video analysts. And what I'm looking for is one person to be the lead analyst. And the lead analyst, I would look for trends, for things that are working, things that require work on. So you have to know the way we play. I can give you our game model so you understand how we're trying to play. And I'm looking for someone that can come in and see where that's working and where that's not working and potentially why. The overarching analyst is going to just give me team-focused stuff. So set plays, kickoff routine, goal kick routines, moving through the thirds. How are we in the defensive third? How are we in the middle third? How are we creating chances? How are we conceding chances? How are we scoring goals? How are we conceding goals? The very, very big picture kind of shit. And then there'll be a written write-up that comes out of that. Then I would look at the other 11 basically having a position each on a pitch. You might be the goalkeeper one. There might be a guy that is the left back one. Maybe do it by shirt numbers. You do number 5, you number 6, you number 7. And then you analyze that particular person's entire game. And I just want like 3 things they did as per the game model really well, and 3 things they did that either wasn't part of the game model, where they went on their own fucking path, was it successful or not, or 3 mistakes that they can work on individually. Because then I also have an individual development coach that I'm working with. I do the team stuff, he does the individual skills, and then between us, the players get better at their individual skills, and the players get better at their team tactical skills, and then the players get fucking better, right? So that's what I'm trying to fucking build, where there's those things. To get people to be able to do that, what I'm doing is I'm sending out a little WeTransfer link, and in that WeTransfer link, I have got an example from one of our games of a write-up that the analyst that left us and went to United did. Here's what a written example looks like, and here is what you need to be able to produce. It's helpful if you've got some experience with apps like Knacksport or something along those lines. And if you don't know what that is, that'd be a good place to start. And then I'm sending you a link to a full game, and I'm saying, make me a report from this game. So I'm looking for a written report and a PDF report of that game. And at the moment, one person has produced what I'm looking for, and that is it. And that is it. Mulvaney says, sounds like something I would love to do. Start of the time. Watch everything at a macro level, break down a report for each individual on a micro level for small improvements each week. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Adam says, Steve Paddock needs American-style cheerleaders. Hire me. I'll hold the auditions. No, we don't. Stephen says, can we have a link for the Paddock membership, please? Is it not in the description? If not, all you got to do is search Stretford Paddock FC fan ownership, and you will find it. I believe in you. Are we registered in Company's House? Yeah. Why? What's that got to do with anything? What happened to the young lady that was on Stretford Paddock? I actually enjoyed her work. Which one? There's been several young ladies. Europa League is more entertaining than Champions League. I disagree. Mizan says, Howson, you're a sausage, mate. I might be, but I'm fucking tasty. Junior says, we have no Europe next season. Within 7 days on the training grounds, we have to get the structure and the management right. I agree with that one. Plate says, forget about Ollie for fuck's sake. Sometimes I wonder if people actually want the best for United. Well, you know what you got with Ollie, I think. Like I said, I don't know for sure what you would get in terms of if you change the managers, but, you know, it's one of them, wasn't it? Richard says, I've got a question. I'm 66, would like to start a YouTube channel on United history for fun. Could you recommend a good basic microphone / USB? Not in terms of a USB one, no, but you can get a pretty good setup. I mean, there's so much stuff out there right now. There's one that you can get on your phone, depending on what phone you have. So I've got an iPhone, and if you search Rode iPhone mic, there's one that plugs into the back of your phone. So you could just mount your phone somewhere and then have good audio through that, and you would be absolutely fine with it. The boss says, you're opening it up again. Yeah, I'll open it up today. Just DM me on Instagram. Damiano says, can I do your catering and team nutrition? I don't know what level you think we are. F1 Clarky says, sports psychology. Yeah, so we've had a lad on placement from Loughborough for 12 months as part of his degree, and I have to have regular updates with his tutors and mentors, and he's had a fantastic season with us and has worked along a load of different stuff. So we give him the role of athlete development coach, and he's been absolutely fantastic for us. But yeah, there's tons of stuff. We do all sorts, and it's really interesting, you know, pushing about and learning about those things as well. Do Ineos sign players, or does Ten Hag in the summer? Big change if Ineos. It has to be a collaboration. You can't sign someone the manager's like, I absolutely can't work with him. But they also can't just sign everybody that the manager wants. There has to be a collaboration, I think. The problem we have in the summer, it says LDT, is we have 5 or 6 have to go, but probably won't, and there's another 5 or 6 that are going due to contract. Turnover of 15 players is unlikely, and also potentially an absolute nightmare. Anyway, I need to get going. Cheers for tuning in as always. If you're interested in getting involved in the football club in any way, DM me. If you want to become a member, just search Stretford Paddock FC fan ownership. The information is out there. Cheers for everyone who voted on the kit vote. It looked like it was 86% of you said you would go for a green and gold. It will be going to a fan vote because there's all sorts of different kits. There's pink ones, there's blue ones. There's literally a million different options that we're going to throw. So I will send it over and see what the fans decide. But I think we're doing football in a real good way, and I think we're doing stuff real positive for the community. So check those out. People saying Lissandro's back in the squad. That's good news. SK with a super chat says, no Europe, I think we can really embed some patterns. Been saying we don't get time like the other teams have had. We played like individuals. I think that's semi-true, but the back end of this season, we've had plenty of time on the training pitch. We just haven't used it correctly, clearly, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm out of here. Cheers for tuning in as always. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you're on these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms.